Live. Hi. For everyone who's joining this live session with CZ and AMI with CZ, I'm Nina Xiang from Binance Academy. So good to see you. So I see people are still coming in. So we'll just wait for more people to come in. And also we'll wait for CZ to join us shortly.
Hello, guys.
Oh, CZ, you're here. Hello, CZ.
Yeah. Not too bad, not too bad. Hold on, let me see if I can change the mic. Hey, can you hear me now?
We hear you perfectly.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, CZ, so much for taking the time to interact with our community at an event at the end of an event for 2022. So maybe we can ask people to raise their hands, tell us where you are watching this from, and also feel free to say hello to CZ in the chat. So CZ, I guess welcome to this AMA, and let's jump right into the topic.
Sure.
We're at the end of a very, very dramatic 2022. So I'm going to ask you to first use 2 to 3 minutes to recap the year and tell us the highs and lows of the industry, the greatest achievements for 2022, and what has been the biggest moment for you for 2022 so far.
Yeah, I think 2022 has definitely been a what you call a dynamic year. A lot of bad things happened. There's Terra, Luna, UST, and then there's FTX. There's a bunch of other collateral damage, Three Arrows, Genesis, Voyager, etc. So there's a lot of failures. There's a lot of shakeouts. But at the same time, there's still a lot of development going on. There's a lot of building. So Ethereum moved away from proof of work into a proof of stake, what we call the merge, which is a very significant step if you think about how much implications that has. So that's a very big one. NFT is still moving forward. We're seeing Twitter allowing users to upload NFTs of their profiles, Facebook, Reddit, all following that. The blockchain technologies continue to advance. So we see more layer one protocols launching. We see more zero knowledge ZK proofs making progress. BNB chain launched its zero knowledge scaling technology, ZK BNB, and a number of other projects on ZK EVM applying to launch next year. And then on the regulatory front, we also see a lot of progress. EU passed the MiCA bill, which provides a lot more clarity for the regulatory environment in the EU, which is one of the largest markets in the world. And then many countries started to look at central bank digital currencies, etc. And Binance over 2022 have got 14 licenses globally, and about I can't remember the exact number, maybe like somewhere around 8 to 10 licenses in the US. Binance US got 8 to 10 new licenses in 2022. So that's pretty significant. Internationally, Binance.com, France, Italy, Spain, Poland, Cyprus, Australia, New Zealand, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Bahrain, Kazakhstan, and Japan, and South Africa. So all of these countries, we got registrations or licenses this year. So as much FUD as there is, there's a lot of progress. So, and also at Binance.com, I think we're quite proud to stick to our values in these turbulent times. So we are increasing the user transparency. We topped up our safe fund to $1 billion again because of the crypto price dropped. Our business continued to grow. We surpassed 120, 130 million users globally. We have 7,800, 900 employees right now with over 100 nationalities all over the world. And also we have invested more than 500 million through Binance Labs on Web3 and blockchain projects. So Binance NFT has 600,000 weekly users and 3 million gaming NFTs listed. And Binance Academy hosted 26 million unique visitors to our learning materials in 2022 alone. And we donated $15 million US dollars equivalent in 2022 to different projects life-changing projects in 20 different countries. So yeah, all of this is happening. And we've seen growth in the number of users actually, so in this industry. And as much as as much as we see issues in the industry, I think the strong players are still growing. Oh, and lastly, BUSD is now the third largest market cap stablecoin. BUSD is not issued by Binance; it's issued by Paxos, which is an NYDFS regulated entity. And it has the largest, highest fiat backing, 96%, and 4% in treasury bills. So all of those things are happening. So there's a lot of FUD, there's a lot of skepticism, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of questions, but also there's a lot of the strong builders are building. So I think, 2022 is a dynamic year, and it's tough, but we're still progressing.
Thank you so much for that. I think a lot of people forget about so many positive things, and people are just continuing to build in this industry as well. So thank you for that. Another question is about, investors and crypto community as a whole have become more cautious of the risk, all the risks involved. So what differences have you seen, all these events in the past year make for the central exchange customers and the overall industry?
I think, first of all, Binance is not just a centralized exchange. So Binance.com is a centralized exchange, but we also fund a CoinMarketCap, which is access to free information. We fund Trust Wallet, which is a decentralized wallet. We fund a lot of developers for BNB chain and other blockchains too. So we have a whole ecosystem of projects, both centralized and decentralized. I think more recently, we've seen more fear more fear on the centralized exchanges part. So I think many of the fear come from the same people that were rooting for specific centralized exchanges that have failed. And now they think every other centralized exchange will fail. But understand that businesses are different. Even businesses in the same industry are different. So just because one restaurant fails doesn't mean another restaurant is destined to fail. So and there are good managers and bad managers in businesses. So we're seeing that happening. But overall, the consumer confidence is shaken, and the regulatory scrutiny will increase. So we do see quite a lot of fear in the industry. But overall, we just recommend people to adopt your risk management principles, be risk averse. And for crypto businesses, never use your native token as collateral. Share life of proof. Be more transparent. Keep strong reserves. Avoid excessive leverage, and build very strong security protocols. So I think the strong projects are still going. And on top of that, we launched a recovery initiative, or some people call it a fund, but it's not a traditional fund. So many crypto players like Jump Crypto, Polygon, Amanico brands have joined. They committed over $50 or $100 million. I don't know the exact number. And then Binance committed to more than $1 billion US. And we're actually deploying those funds to different projects in the crypto space. So a lot of things are happening. There is some shakeup, but guess what? We've seen this many, many times. When a problem happened to one centralized exchange, people do withdraw a bit more from centralized exchanges. And then when a DeFi rug pull happens, people move their funds back into centralized exchanges. So the funds move back and forth. And we want to provide more choices for our users. So we're happy with anywhere they store crypto, as long as they come into crypto.
So you're exactly right that users has their own role to play, to keep their funds safe, to manage their own risks. But for Binance, what kind of role can we play here to calm the fears of investors and also the users, and also help bring about more confidence in the industry and also the industry's underlying infrastructure?
I think for us, in a turbulent time like this, the simplest thing to do is just be the stable force. So as long as we provide us platforms in a stable manner, make sure deposits, withdrawals, trading, all of our products work. And in a dynamic environment like this, if you're just stable, that's it. That's all we got to do. It's actually pretty simple. So I think all the FUD will go away. They will actually prove themselves wrong. And then people will lose those FUD sources will lose credibility, and people will stop believing them, and they actually will believe us more. So I think for us, it's very simple. We just got to be the stable force in this dynamic environment.
Thank you, CZ. I want to remind everyone who's watching, on the top right button, you can see that you can click that button to go to see a list of all the special offerings that Binance is offering during the Christmas holiday season. So make sure you click that and go see a lot of very exciting offerings we are giving to our users. So CZ, let's continue the conversation. Let's focus on maybe, the part that's really important, that's about building. So a lot of people miss this, but 2022 has definitely been a busy year for building. So how do you see that translate over to our focus for 2023? What will Binance build upon the foundations that we have laid in 2022?
Yeah, I think 2023 is probably going to be a recovery year. So we've seen that, in bear markets, a lot of people get shaken out. But the guys who stay, they will actually lay the foundations for the next bull run. And also, even though as bad as 2022 is, we call it a winter. But this winter is way warmer than the last one. The bottom of the last one is like $3,000 and this winter the bottom is like $16,000, which is still like 5-6x improvement. So I think going into 2023, we just gotta continue building products people use. I think we're seeing a number of other use cases instead of just trading. NFTs are gaining traction. DeFi is getting traction. Payments are getting traction. Remittances are getting traction. So all of those use cases, I think, will continue to build into 2023. Binance Card, I think, is now available in 5-6 countries. We're adding 9 more in the next quarter or so. So a lot of things are happening. So yeah, and then also wallets. I think we still need a lot more better wallets in the ecosystem. So we'll continue to invest a lot more there. So there's quite a lot of different stuff. I don't have a specific blueprint. We'll figure it out.
So you mentioned NFT, remittances, Binance Card, and are there anything else, or that's pretty much all the focus we have been building this past year? We'll continue that focus going forward.
Actually, there's a lot more. I won't be able to iterate a complete list on top of my head. Oh, actually, even if I sit down for 2 hours, I probably will not be able to iterate them. So there's like a couple million builders in this industry. So they're all building different stuff. And it's very hard for me to know everything that's going on. But a lot of people are building.
Definitely, for sure. So I'd like to remind everyone who's watching that you can submit questions right now in the chat. And also you can submit questions probably on social media as well. But we're screening all those questions, raise your question to CZ, that we will go through all of them and we will choose the very good ones to have CZ answer them. So make sure you do submit the questions. Okay, so we've talked about the really, the important part, the building part, CZ, but there are still a lot of concerns, as you know very well. So one of the major issues I think right now people have been asking a lot of questions about is the proof of reserves. So can you tell us a little bit more on this topic? As you know, a lot of users have probably seen your tweets on it. We had published a number of different articles on the topics. Are there anything new you can add?
Yeah, so I think, look, the current crypto businesses are becoming much more transparent than traditional businesses, including banks, traditional financial institutions, etc. So we're able to do proof of reserves on the blockchain. I know there is a lot of questions about proof of liabilities, audits, and all of this topics. Well, there's a few different topics here. Number one is the proof of reserves. We have to do step by step. Binance have a lot of different coins. We have 600 different assets that's supported on Binance, and we have a lot of trading pairs. We have a lot of products, including margins, loans, etc. So within our user ecosystem. So to be able to do proof of reserves on all of these assets takes some time. So we did BTC first, and then we're doing Ethereum, BNB, and the top coins first. The top coins cover 90-something% of the user assets. It changes from day to day, but no, they cover the majority. So it does take time. So we're doing that. We want to get the results out fast instead of waiting for a quarter and do them completely. So we're doing one by one, asset by asset, and we'll continue to increase the coverage of the proof of reserves. The second thing is quick people ask about is audits. Right now, having third-party audit firms are important, and we're working with a number of them right now. But many of the traditional audit firms are not so familiar with crypto, so we're actually educating them on how to do proof of reserves, etc. So that's also ongoing. And then the third part is about liabilities. It's actually quite difficult. So we could do an audit and say, look, we have no liabilities, and traditional firms have the liabilities versus assets, etc., and they will match up. And we are quite a unique organization. We actually don't have any loans from any other organization. We don't have loans from banks. We don't have loans from funds. And for many people in certain jurisdictions, especially in loan-heavy jurisdictions, in the Western world, most business will have loans, will have liabilities. We actually don't have much of that. Well, we actually don't have any of the loans, and we don't have any other liabilities. This is hard for people to understand sometimes. But whereas though in other parts of the world, many businesses do not have loans to begin with, and they are always profitable. So we ran a very simple business. So one of the reasons I believe that I was not successful in Web 2 is the Web 2 world, most of the companies go for size and they burn cash to get to size. So they raise VC money round after round, and they burn through those money to get to size. And then they worry about business model, like how do you make revenue? Some businesses made it. Google, Facebook, Amazon. Amazon first turned a profit 9 years after funding, and 7 years after going public. I'm not very comfortable with those type of business models. And another example, Uber. Even today, I believe Uber has never made a profit. So as big as Uber and as valuable as Uber is, they just never turn a profit. For me, I'm not very comfortable with those kind of business models. I actually much prefer simpler business models where you always have a profit and you always self-sustained. So there's a lot of questions about that, but Binance is a very solid business in this regard. So there's a lot of questions, but over time we will address all of them, and we will prove all the FUD is wrong.
Thank you for that very much. So I think you provide a very comprehensive answer to especially the part about liabilities and running an exchange business. A lot of people don't understand I guess the financial part of centralized exchanges and the fact that we don't have any loans and outstanding liabilities, at least significant amount of those. So I think a lot of people perhaps don't really get this point. So thank you so much for making that clear. Another very critical issue that people are paying a lot of attention right now is the outflows right now we are experiencing on Binance. So I guess maybe you can share a little bit more about how we view the outflows, and also are users' assets safe as a result of all these outflows we have experienced recently?
Yeah, so to be honest, the outflows and inflows are very common in crypto. On a bull run, in the bull market, we see like billions of dollars net deposits every single day, and our system actually sometimes have trouble handling the sheer volume just because of system performance, not so much because of anything else. And 2 weeks ago, I think different reports reported different numbers actually, so there's different ways to calculate that number. And some people reported in the highest day, $6 billion was withdrawn from Binance. That caused some fear from some users to withdraw more, which is fine. It's your asset. We have your asset one-to-one on Binance. We always have the reserves. And I think the fact that we process that much in a day shows that we do have the reserve. We do have the reserve, which is a simple part. The harder part is actually handling system performance. Many of the blockchains are slow. Many of the banks that we depend on are slow. So it's actually working through those technical issues that are more important for us. So we handle, like, it's your asset. You can deposit, you can withdraw, you can trade, you can do whatever you want. We hold reserves 1-to-1. Actually, historically, interestingly, Christmas is usually around the time that people withdraw more. I don't know if it's people gotta buy like presents for their families or just I don't know what it is, but on usually Christmas time people withdraw more, and then come January and February people like want to trade more because they have New Year resolutions, they're gonna make more money and stuff like that. So it's very normal. Not like it's coincided with a lot of FUD. The FUD probably amplify the amount of fear, and people probably withdraw more. But for us, it's fine. Look, if you have fear, withdraw. If you want to trade, deposit back. Christmas is usually a holiday season, and there's usually lower trading volumes. And before that, people usually withdraw a bit more. Nothing really out of the ordinary. And to be honest, 6 billion is like less than 10% of our reserves. So 10% of withdrawals in a single day, not a big deal. Bitcoin price is actually a good indicator of our industry. You can see that Bitcoin price can still move more than 10% in a single day. So it's all normal market behavior, but the media really amplifies it to make it like a big issue. But this happens all the time.
Yeah, I think, we handle all these withdrawals very smoothly is another proof that user funds are backed 1-to-1. And CZ, you mentioned Christmas shopping. That's very, very fitting for what I'm going to say next, which is I want to tell everyone watching that you can click the button on the top right. And especially one offering we are making from Binance Card is that you can get up to 8% cash back on all your spend this Christmas with Binance Card, and get additional cash back of up to 6% with your Binance Card transactions. So, definitely feel free to take that benefit from all of the special holiday offerings we are giving to our users. So, CZ, back to another yet very critical question about the rumors that U.S. Justice Department is wanting to charge Binance perhaps for some regulatory issues. Is this a rumor true? And is Binance compliant to regulations, particularly anti-money laundering regulations?
So we can't speculate on what other people will or will not do, especially when it comes to justice departments of countries, regulatory agencies. We don't know exactly what they are going to do. We are in communications with almost every regulatory agency in the world, well, actually, at least the top ones. So, we also, in the last year, we hired many people from those regulatory agencies. This includes, actually many law enforcement agencies too, including Europol, Interpol, IRS, CIA, FBI, etc. So, also, we actually have a complaint from many regulatory agencies or law enforcement agencies all around the world, saying that they lack crypto talent in their departments because we hire all of them. As soon as somebody knows crypto, we make an offer, we hire them, they join us, and then they are lacking those talent. For that reason, over the last year, we have increased our training for law enforcement agencies and regulatory agencies all around the world. I don't know the exact number, but we must have done more than 30 training seminars, etc., all around the world for different law enforcement agencies. So we are in constant communication with them, and we actually help them on many of the cases that they're working on. So, there are some questions about Binance, etc. Do we do AML well? Do we do KYC well, etc.? I am very confident Binance today does KYC AML better than any other crypto business and probably better than many banks. So we're very solid in that area. And we also work very closely with law enforcement agencies on cracking some of the really tough cases. There is a book written by Tigran, who is now in part of Binance. He was one of the leading agents who helped to crack the Silk Road case. The book is called Tracers in the Dark. You can buy it on Amazon. It's written by Andy Greenberg. And there's many other books as well. But that book talks a lot about how we work with law enforcement agencies, etc., or how they work to solve crimes. And many of those guys are now working on the Binance team. So we're very comfortable. We're very confident with our compliance, AML procedures, etc. There is room to improve, but I think the fact says, data says, there's much less illicit activities in crypto than in traditional financial industries. So I think we're very confident there.
Okay, great. Thank you, CZ. We have a lot of user questions coming in. So we're going to go into those user questions very, very soon. But before we do that, one last question, CZ. I feel like, this is on our agenda, but I feel like there's no need to ask you, but maybe you can give a very short answer, which is, Binance is the biggest company in crypto industry, and we have therefore a huge responsibility being the largest crypto operator. So will Binance survive the global recession and the crypto winter this time? And what can we do to assure our users that we will survive?
Okay, I think there's two things there. Number one is we may or may not be the biggest organization or community in the industry. I think Bitcoin community is bigger. Even if you look at Bitcoin is less decentralized, there's no leader or founder per se, but there's a core team of guys who are working on it. Ethereum has a leader. Ethereum's market cap is bigger than BNB chain, etc. Binance is one of the largest exchanges in the industry.
Thank you for the correction. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So and also I look, for me, this is the third winter. I came into crypto at the end of 2013, beginning of 2014. That was a high. Bitcoin in December 2013. Bitcoin reached the high of $1,000. And then it dropped for like 2 years. And then 2017, it reached another high of $19,000. And then there was a winter. So that was my second. And then 2021, there was another all-time high of 68,000. And then now we're kind of in a winter again. So this is the third time for me. And this is the second time for Binance. We have this mentality that this will happen. So even though the history doesn't predict the future, well, we kind of know that crypto goes through this crazy cycles, and traditional stock markets also go through this crazy cycles. So for me, this is nothing new. This is fully expected. This didn't catch us by surprise, and actually we are benefiting from it. We're leveraging this opportunity. We're hiring more people. We're investing in more companies. We're doing more mergers and acquisitions. We're helping the industry to grow. So we're actually taking advantage of this opportunity. So I am pretty confident. I'm very confident we will survive the winter. And this winter is actually way warmer than the last couple of winters. The winter in 2014, Bitcoin price was $200. The winter in 2018, the Bitcoin price was $3,000 at the lowest point. Right now, we're still like $16,000, $17,000, $18,000. We're fine. So I'm pretty confident we will survive. We have the cash reserves. We're still profitable even today. We've been profitable through Binance has been profitable through the last two crypto winters. We're totally fine. So I'm pretty sure we will survive.
Appreciate that voice of confidence. It just reminds me of listening to Warren Buffett during 2008 financial crisis. When everybody feels like, felt the world is ending, Warren Buffett is telling everyone, the US economy will be fine, we'll do okay eventually. So the voice of confidence is really important at the time right now. So CD, we have so many questions. I'm going to maybe ask you one by one, and then maybe you can give short answers so we can answer as many questions as possible. Sure. The first question is, will Trust Wallet ever evolve into cold storage?
Trust Wallet is already a store your own coin kind of thing, right? So different people have different definitions for cold storage. If you install Trust Wallet on a phone, on your device, and then turn on airplane mode, and then generate a seed and write down, store that seed somehow encrypted or on a piece of paper or in a vault, you actually never really have to have that wallet connect to the internet. And that could be a cold wallet. You can keep depositing to it. When you want to send money out, you will have to connect that to the internet, and then that will become less cold. But so depending on what your definition is, So Trust Wallet is already hold your own key wallet, and which is actually funded by Binance. It's a great team. It's a very small team. Trust Wallet actually has 50 million downloads. Most people don't know that. So it's actually a very wide, actually the most downloaded wallet. So feel free to use it. Yeah.
Great. And the second question is, what do you think is the most important in the next crypto recovery?
It's very hard to say what's the most important. I think, look, for every business that's in crypto, for every player, just do your thing. Just make sure that you have a sustainable business model, you have a solid business model, and you have product people use, and that's it. And collectively, all of us will contribute to the recovery of the winter. Yeah.
Next question: do you think there should be any regulation about creating coins?
I'm not sure. That's a fairly wide general question. Not every coin is the same. So there are coins which are more utility driven. There are coins which are more like commodities. There are coins which are more like other things. So there are already regulations for different type of asset types. I think crypto is not a single asset type. If you issue a token that represents a value of a company stock, then that's a security. And if you issue a real estate token that mimics the value of real estate, that's most likely a security token. But if you issue something that's used on the blockchain for transaction fees, etc., that's most likely a utility token. So I think we should have different disclosure, different rules, different regulations for different type of tokens. Different countries are also in different situations. Some countries are more regulated; they have a bigger financial industry, etc. Some countries don't even have banks. In some countries, banking penetration is less than 12%. So different countries will have different needs. I don't think there's a simple answer there, but more regulatory clarity is better.
So I guess maybe can I ask a follow-up question, which is, what is your view on crypto regulation generally?
Generally, I think regulatory clarity is better. Having regulatory clarity is usually better than not. But good regulations are good, bad regulations are bad. We've seen countries who ban crypto exchanges, who ban crypto mining, like China. I don't think that's good. I think that's clearly bad. There are other countries with severe restrictions. But there are also some countries which provides very encouraging environment for crypto industries, still with some regulation. So I think there are good countries, there are countries who are very favorable. But overall, I think the climate is changing to be more restrictive because of the issues that happened recently this year. So, but we'll have to rebuild confidence with those regulators, with regulators all around the world, which is a lot of work, but it's just necessary work that we have to do.
Great. So the next question is about, it's quite general, and it's also about, do we have any plans to make Binance decentralized in the future?
That's a general one. So this Binance centralized exchange on Binance.com, I think that part is quite difficult to decentralize in a true sense of the decentralization way. In fact, we had to move to be more centralized because of regulatory requirements. They want to know a headquarters. They want to know a parent company. They want to see a board. They want to see all these traditional structures that apply to companies to apply to this organization. But there are many decentralized projects that we invest or fund, BNB Chain, Trust Wallet, even CoinMarketCap. So I think over time, more and more business models can be decentralized. But decentralization has its drawbacks or costs. When you decentralize something, you have to sort of build that into the protocol. You have to build the business model into the protocol. So, for example, you can imagine a decentralized Uber. Drivers just get paid however much, etc. But the minute you launch that, Uber's probably going to launch a marketing campaign to cut the cost or to give rebates. On a decentralized protocol, then you can't do that dynamically. You have to build that into the protocol. So you actually have less flexibility to change. So, and for Binance.com, I think, you'll remain a centralized exchange. But we are funding a lot of other initiatives in the ecosystem that are more decentralized. It's not black and white. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So another very general question again, but maybe you can use your crystal ball to help answer this user's question, which is when will the mass adoption of crypto come? I think it depends on how you define what is mass adoption. We are pushing adoption already very gradually, and with all the building we have been doing. But CZ, your views.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at the data, right? So today, global adoption is probably around 3 to 5%, depending, actually 0.5 to 5%, depending on how you count it. And the different numbers you can look at. If you look at how many people have some kind of global population-wise, yes. So if you look at how many people have crypto, if you grab 100 random guys on the street, maybe 3 to 5 of them will have some kind of crypto. So maybe like 3 to 5%. But if you look at total net worth, out of that 3 or 5 people, how much of their net worth is in crypto? Probably on average, less than 10%. So net worth-wise, we're definitely less than 0.5% into crypto. And if you look at the adoption curves, there are many books written about this, crossing the chasm, etc. Before 10%, we're talking about early adopters. And then up to 20%, you start to get like an exponential growth curve. And then once most people talk about mass adoption is somewhere between 20 to 50 or 60, 70%. We're not quite there yet. I think hopefully on the next bull cycle, we will get there.
Wow. That's definitely something to look forward to. So we've discussed a lot of very heavy, serious topics so far. So let's maybe do something a little bit lighthearted. Our users would like to know, CZ, how, what is your daily routine to maintain a healthy lifestyle?
So this is an interesting question. So if you look at the background here, I have a deer head in this room. So I'm in a wooden cottage on it. Sorry? So I'm actually stuck in a wooden cottage on a mountain. I can see snow right outside the window. So this is the first time, after COVID, that I'm looking at, I'm actually, for this Christmas, I do plan to go for snowboarding a bit. I hope my back has recovered enough. And I do try to